Hello, welcome to the Suttliff Report. Today we have a difficult topic. It is not for the ears of little ones, and because we are going to be talking about adultery, sodomy, and the other things that they consider under this topic. So please, I'll give one more warning on this, and just saying, protect the ears of your little ones, where they're not old enough to hear this stuff. So let's start and do our reading from the Bible first, and we're going to read on this same topic. Yes, we're going to go to the Gospel of John, and I'll show you that there's a discussion about adultery in the New Testament. Jesus talked about it. Whoa, yeah, Jesus talked about it. Here we go. Okay, get the right one up here. Here we go. All right, John 8:1. Jesus went unto the Mount of Olives, and early in the morning he came again into the temple, and all the people came unto him, and he sat down and taught them. And the scribes and the Pharisees brought unto him a woman taken in adultery, and when they had set her in the midst, they say unto him, Master, this woman was taken in adultery in the very act. Now Moses in the law commanded us that such should be stoned. What do you say? This they said, tempting him, that they might have to accuse him. But Jesus stooped down and with his finger wrote on the ground as though he didn't hear them. So when they continued asking him, he lifted up himself and said unto them, He that is without sin among you, let him first cast a stone at her. And again he stooped down and wrote on the ground. And they which heard it, being convicted by their own conscience, went out one by one, beginning at the eldest, even until the last, and Jesus was left alone, and the woman standing in the midst. When Jesus had lifted up himself and saw none but the woman, he said unto her, Woman, where are your accusers? Has no man condemned thee? Wow. How dare he not condemn her, right? No, this is the God of love, the God of mercy. She responds, she said, No man, Lord. And Jesus said unto her, Neither do I condemn you. Go and sin no more. It's a rather simple message. Go and sin no more. A lot of people will look at this message, they'll stop here, and they'll say, what did he draw? What was he writing in the sand? Was he writing their names and their sins? Maybe he was just writing a sin that they had done, that they all of a sudden they start running away. This is the God, the living God. Can you imagine? You're bringing someone, you're expecting him to take part in stoning her. They thought they were going to get him in trouble for not taking part. And he stays there with her. He was by her side in her difficult time. And then he just says he doesn't condemn her, just go and sin no more. What do you want to believe that when Jesus rose from the dead, she ran to meet her Lord? This is a beautiful, beautiful piece of scripture. We serve a God who's willing to look at our own stupidity, and accept us for who we are. I can't tell you how many stupid things I do each day. I can tell you I'm not perfect. And this is the God that loves. Sadly, today, our topic is not as simple. Our topic is on Islam, and we're talking about Sharia. So it is definitely not a pretty picture. That's why the picture is not pretty. By the way, this is a piece of art. So this is not a woman who has been stoned. This is someone's piece of art in protest of women being stoned for adultery. So think about that. It is quite a powerful statement. Now we're going to start this. And I want to point out again, this book that we're reading is called The Reliance of the Traveler. We're doing the 86th part of this. This is over 2 years. We're working on our second year, I should say. And we're only in the Book of Crimes. No, they call it the Book of Justice, but in Arabic, it is the Book of Crimes. So we're going to get into this, but I think there's important things. So let's start with the simple stuff. No children allowed after this. Kids, go home, go to another room. Do not be present because the stuff we have to talk about is just for adults. All right. I am starting with this word zina because every time we mention the word adultery or fornication, it's zina. In Arabic, it's just zina. It's only one word. And they say it, I mean, this is, if you look at this, I got this from what? Wikipedia, right? Okay. This is weird. I'm telling you. I'm sorry. This was from Islam. I think this is from Islam, Islamopedia or something like that. There's a problem here. They don't know the difference in English between fornication and adultery. This is problematic. It becomes more difficult as we go on. We're going to talk about the differences because we have to understand the definitions before we can get into the law. I was just talking to people about why I like law. And one of the reasons is because when we define things, that makes it easier to understand. That's what law is made to do. It starts out with definitions. I had to memorize a whole section of law to do my job. In fact, when I was going through my master's work, we had oral exams. If you didn't have the law memorized, you failed. You didn't get your graduate degree. I don't know, you would have to take it over. The oral exam was a class. You had to come back and take it again. If you didn't pass the second time, I have no idea what they did with you. I was very thankful I passed the first time through. It was scary. The test was scary because you didn't know exactly what they're going to ask. And it was a huge amount of law that you had to know. But what they required the most was knowledge of the definitions. So again, I'm pushing this concept, understanding. They believe this term, zina, refers to unlawful sexual intercourse. You're going to find out today what that means and what it doesn't mean. And this will shock you. I'm using their words. All right, let's keep going here. So I went to Islam Q&A. I like this site, but it is a Muslim Brotherhood site. So we have a problem here. I've talked to Yusuf, who's on with Usama Dakdak, and he's from Saudi Arabia. I take him as a better expert than I ever will be in Arabic. And he was like, yeah, it means basically it's you're breaking the law because you're having it's unlawful sex, okay? Unlawful sexual intercourse. That's what it really comes down to. It gets humorous though, because listen to this definition provided by Islam Q&A, which is a Muslim Brotherhood site. Zina in Arabic means immorality and is used with two meanings. In Sharia, a general meaning and a specific meaning. The general meaning includes that which carries the punishment. Oh, okay. And that which does not carry it. Wait a minute. This is going to get important, believe it or not. Islam does not give the name zina only to that which carries the punishment, which is just one of many types of zina. So something's unlawful, there might be no punishment. Are you catching on? They said it's unlawful. That's what they're telling you. Here, they're saying it's immoral. What is it? Is it unlawful or immoral? Those are hugely different things. All right. Ibn Abbas said, I have never heard any better definition of small faults. From Al-Najm 53 to 32, that which Abu Huraira narrated from the apostle, or from the prophet, Allah has decreed for every son of Adam his share of zina. Wait, unlawful intercourse? And there is no way to escape from it. So you're going to have to, and that would mean it's not going to be with your spouse, right? Oh, and Allah's in on this. Are you catching this? This comes from the Quran, people. The zina of the eye is a glance. The zina of the tongue is speaking. Wait a minute. Now, wait a minute. How is unlawful intercourse in the eye, in the mouth? They continue. And the zina of the mind is wishing and hoping. Then the private part either acts upon this or does not. Oh, so maybe the zina in the mind is what Jesus talks about. Even if you hate your brother, you are guilty of murder. Fantasizing. Well, we're being too kind. We're giving them maybe, but all right. I'm going to go on a little faster. Here we go. We'll go to the next one. Fornication. Now, fornication is intercourse between two persons who are not married to each other. Wait a minute. What's the difference then? Adultery is two people who aren't married to each other, right? But down here we go. In case you're wondering, the words adultery and adult are not etymologically related to each other. Adultery doesn't grow out of the word adult, right? Here's a legal use. Difference between adultery and fornication. Adultery is only used when at least one of the parties involved, either male or female, is married. Oh, so the guy or the girl, if one of them is married, then we have adultery. If one of them isn't married and they're having a sexual relationship, and notice they're using the word consensual, then it is fornication. All right. This is the huge difference. All right. How daring are you, Nico? Would you please read on the left, but every time you see the word fornication, I want you to use the word zina.
Okay. All right. Is that 12.0?
Yes.
All right. The penalty for zina or sodomy. 12.1. The legal penalty is obligatory imposed upon anyone who fornicates or commits sodomy. A. Provided it is legally established when they, point A, have reached puberty, point B, are sane, point C, and commit the act voluntarily. No matter whether the person is a Muslim, non-Muslim, subject of Islamic State, or someone who has left Islam.
Now, let me ask you, did they tell you what they're talking about?
Nope.
Nico?
No.
Okay, they really haven't, they're not using the words zina, they're telling us it's fornication. So us English are thinking, oh, this is sex before marriage, right?
Yes.
Because neither one would be.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is, okay. Is this purposeful? And here's what I'm going to say. When you come from an Arabic country and you go into the Western world, you're not going to know the word fornication, what it means to the English speakers or to the Western world. You won't understand that. There is a huge difference. And I know people who have been here for a number of years, and they didn't know this word, what it means in our world. So that kind of surprised someone that I know. I was kind of wondering. So I asked that and like, oh, okay. I don't think he understood. So it's interesting. Um, again, it's a cultural difference in some respect, but it's a hugely defined difference. If you're translating this Arabic you see on the right to the stuff on the left, you should know the language well enough to understand culture. So I will tell you this, on the right where it says zina, I did that. Okay, I took out adultery, is what I was putting there, because they're not talking about fornication beforehand. The only one who isn't permitted to have sex before marriage is the Muslim free woman. She gets caught, she might get honored, she might be honor killed. She's destroying the honor of the family, unless she is fulfilling the act as a temporary marriage, that the parents are aware of it. Oh, what do we call that here? Prostitution?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So we're not talking about prostitution. We're not talking about a temporary marriage. We're not talking about that. So fornication is legal. Unless you're a woman, a Muslim woman who is not a slave. You notice that over here on the left, it says has reached puberty, are sane, and commit the act voluntarily. But over on the right, what are they missing?
Slaves.
Slave. Yeah. I mean, there's a slave. Yeah. Slaves don't get choices. Keep that in mind. All right, this is going to get nasty. I'll read this one. if the offender is someone with the capacity, keep watching. You're going to see some strange stuff here. Is someone with the capacity to remain chaste? Okay, you're not going to have sex. Then he or she is stoned to death. So if you've committed this act of unlawful sex, okay. And this, if we're talking about adultery, you've had unlawful sex with someone who's married. You might be the male or the female, so one of you might be married. Then that person is stoned to death. Someone with the capacity to remain chaste means anyone who has had sexual. Really, is it anyone? It says someone with the capacity to remain chaste, meaning anyone who has sexual intercourse with their spouse in a valid marriage and is. This is really confusing. Yeah, they have the ability. This is really bizarre over here on the right. Over here on the left. We're talking about a male who is married. All right. The male who is married has intercourse with a woman, not his wife. Oh, sorry, with a wife. Sorry, the married person who is one who has intercourse with his wife. I'm skipping certain words. All right, valid marriage while he's free, adult and sane. If he has intercourse with his wife, are you catching this? And the translation says in the anus, or his female slave in the vagina, or in a corrupt marriage, or he has intercourse with his wife while he is a slave, then he's free. Or a boy, or a madman, then he recovers and commits adultery, then he is not married. Now, I'll say this. Did you understand anything I just read on the right?
No.
Because that's not making sense. Okay, let's try this on the left now. This is supposed to be the expert translation. Over on the right is Google Translation with some corrections by an Arab, by a person who grew up in Saudi Arabia. All right. Look on the left here. We got a guy who's the offender's supposed to get, if you can remain chaste, someone with capacity to remain chaste, meaning anyone who had sexual intercourse with their spouse. Wait a minute. Do they not know that this is not adultery to have? So now you're confused. Are you you're gonna get stoned for having sex with your wife when you read this? And if you're okay, over here, notice they said has intercourse or marriage that is invalid. Oh, yeah. So they're having sex outside the marriage that's invalid. But if you're prepubescent at the time of this, is someone so you could be having sex with a girl 9 years old. She's not guilty of a crime here called adultery. The guy who's doing this, if you're paying close attention here, let me show you what I'm finding. Notice this where we got confused before. Or he has intercourse with his wife while he is a slave. Then he is free. Wait, we were talking about the female a second ago. The male is free. He gets off. It's a free ride for him. Now down here. This is where they don't know the difference between adultery and fornication. They have no clue what it is. And now they're listing it. The unmarried person, if it was forbidden, will be flogged 100 times and banished for up to a year to the distance of shortening the time. This is insane. They don't know the difference. I'm still trying to figure out how you can't know the difference. But when you're using an Arabic word, zina, and you're calling it adultery and you're calling fornication the same thing, you're using the words interchangeably, don't you think you should know the word? I mean, these are the translators. They don't know. So when I sat here, I mean, right from Arabic to make sure it was right, everything I had on this was pretty wrong. Okay. I spoke with my friend Yusuf, and he really fixed this up because it was kind of shocking how bad it was. There was a lot that was accurate on a couple other pages, but this stuff. So they're gonna flog somebody 100 times. That's on the left. They use the word scourge. Okay, scourge in Old Testament times, and during the time of Christ, you had a whip, and it had stuff in it that would rip your skin. Okay, maybe it's not that. Let's just go to the whip. You're going to whip this person 100 times. Notice the he. Is the woman getting punished here? Probably not. If she's prepubescent, she's out. That's what it's telling us here. She's not responsible for that. That's the guy who's. Oh, wait. So they didn't end. What did they have Did they have a marriage contract? If they did, they're both free. That's what that pleasure marriage is about. They're not getting flogged. Here we go. If he is a slave, he'll be flogged 50 times and banished for half a year. Why would the slave get punished if the master is telling them to wait? It's part of their job. Maybe the guy. Maybe this is a guy who was a slave or a female was a slave having sex with someone besides the master. You've got to start asking questions. What are they trying to say here? This is a problem. Now, Elizabeth Victoria picked out something. It says she wrote, much controversy has surrounded the source of the punishment for adultery. According to the page before, you stone them. According to this one, that's 012.1, you stone them. All right. But here you whip them. I mean, look up here, 12.2. He or she is stoned to death. Down here, this is why it's confusing. And it's right over here You guys, oh, you can't see this. I'm sorry. I'll put the cursor in the right spot. Over here on the left, you see a stoning up here on the top. She's stoned. He or she is stoned to death. Down, you go down the bottom of the page. They get whipped, and they say it's stripes. So we know we're talking about a whip, not being striped, or not being scourged. There's a huge difference between these two things, and it's 100 times or 50 times. Slaves get 50 times. And this is why I start with definitions, because it is really confusing. And if you think I was being nice to you, Miko, about what you didn't have to read, I think you might not be happy with me with this next piece. Here we go. Sorry, Nico. Can you read this one?
I was about to say, Rad's here. Hey, Rad, you want to read?
Rad, you want to read, Rad?
I got it. All right, 12.3.
Sorry, I'm
whoever,
driving.
I'm just kidding, man. All right. And whoever has intercourse with, oh my, yeah, thanks. All right, whoever has intercourse with an animal or a dead or living woman, wow, anally, or a slave girl, some of whom he owns, or his sister, who is his slave, or has sexual intercourse with his wife during her menstrual period, anally, or masturbates with his hand, or a sexual act between two women, there is no punishment for him and he is not to be punished. I was going to say earlier that they're just more interested in the punishments than marriage, but maybe I stand corrected here.
So they're not interested in punishment here, are they? I mean, you can have sex with an animal, you're not getting punished. You can have sex with a dead woman, you're not getting punished. You can have sex anally.
Yeah, sex with a dead woman anally. Okay, I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
Just this religion is perverse, dude. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is okay. Like I said, this is a show this is not for children. We're reading Sharia. That is word for word what this says. And notice they didn't translate it. Oh, they don't want us to read this?
Is that Reliance of the Traveler?
Yes, it is.
Is that Reliance? Oh, wow.
Yeah. All right. So here's the thing that got me. And when I was talking with Yusuf about this passage, he wanted to make sure I saw this part. I saw it, but he pointed this out. You know, as we get to this, I'm going down to this fourth line. He's given himself. He can give himself a hand job. He can anally enter his wife, and then we get to this sexual act between two women. Okay, we're talking about two women, right? The next part of the sentence: there is no punishment for him, and he is not to be punished. Wait a minute. Are the women here getting punished?
It depends. Are one of them his sister? But
Oh, okay. That was another part. We talked about it too. It was like, okay, you can own your sister. Yeah. I was like, okay, you can own your sister, which means if she's your, this gets really nasty. They're mentioning the sister who would be a sex slave. I think I said enough there. Somebody, this is perverse beyond belief. And again, this is not my writing. That is in Reliance of the Traveler. It's right here. Something is wrong. I mean, they want to call this Allah's perfect law. Some of these are too perverse. Everybody would be upset if you knew the neighbor was engaging in these acts. I mean, this word here, acts with this thing, acts with this, acts with this. I'm being nice. The sex slave sister, Yeah. I'm emphasizing this only because this is the perverseness. And the guy, I mean, there's no punishment listed for the women. Notice that. This is the law. It's supposed to be about the punishments. They said the man gets no punishment. They didn't say if the woman gets punished either. She's left out. And as I asked that question, doesn't that mean, does that mean the woman's not punished? And because these pronouns are all masculine, he said, no, it just means there's no punishment for the man. But here, the last reference was to women. So there's a lot of questions here. So Elizabeth, we were talking about punishments. Does the man get punished at all? Yeah. All right. I'll read 12.4. Whoever commits adultery and says, notice up here on the left, they use fornication. They don't know the difference. This is really the word zina, okay? Fornication, adultery, same exact word in Arabic. They don't know the difference. Whoever commits zina is not punished if he says that he does not know it was unlawful. So you can sin, even if you don't know it's a sin. You're okay. You can say, I didn't know anything about that. All right, and they say, provided he is a new Muslim. So you got a new Muslim out there, and he goes and sullies the name of Islam by having, using their words, immoral intercourse. Now, after reading the last piece, you're probably asking, is it even possible to have immoral intercourse?
At this
Because
point, I would.
Yeah.
I was going to say at this point, going by their definition, I would have to say that unlawful sexual relations would be married to the same person for the rest of your life.
It's bad. This is just, I'm kind of reading that last piece. Yeah, the only thing that sounded normal wasn't what they listed. And there was no punishment. And you would be concerned if those were your neighbors. Yeah. Okay, we'll try this one more time. I'm just going to read the small print. This is the Google Translate that got corrected by my friend from Saudi Arabia, all right, from Yusuf. Whoever commits adultery and says, I do not know that adultery is forbidden, and he is a recent convert to Islam or grew up in a desert far from scholars, so nobody taught him anything, they don't get any punishment. But if that's not the case, he'll be punished. How's he punished? 100 lashes. Now, wait a minute. What kind of adultery are we talking about? Or what kind of zina are we talking about? Yeah, so you had sex with... Okay, if you had sex with your sex slave, that's not unlawful. If you had... Here I'm going. You have to find out what's unlawful. And what you find out what's more permissible. There's more permissible than is unlawful. The only woman who gets in trouble here is the woman who is not a slave. And that's the reason why they wear hijabs, to show they're not slaves. Keep that in mind. This is disgusting. Sorry. This is the reason why this show is not for kids. All right, we'll try the next one. I'm going to ask Nico, can you read from the right?
Okay. 12.5. He shall not be flogged in severe cold or heat or in an illness with hope of recovery until he recovers. Nor in the mosque, nor shall a woman who is pregnant until she gives birth, and the pain of childbirth has passed. He shall not be flogged with a new or old whip, but with a whip between two whips.
Wait. Okay. Wait. So we're using 3 whips to whip one person. Do we count each? Do we whip the guy 100 times now, or do we divide it by 3 and count this? Is anybody asking that question? Because I sure am. So you're using 3 whips, and you're supposed to get 100 lashes. Is it 100 times this, or is it 3?
Well, what do you do about the remainder of 1?
One for the next day, I guess. I don't know. I mean, Allah doesn't know how to do math, so
But I thought Muslims
so
invented math.
the Arabic numerals is they don't invent math. They will claim that there are Muslims who did great math, and when you actually do the research on that, you find out these people were Persians. They got conquered by Arabs, and they had to take on Muslim names. So that's the truth on that one. Social studies teacher had to deal with that. All right. Many years ago, that was a good question. Student asked me that question, and boy, that was a long time ago. Is anybody asking how many? I mean, really, we don't know how many times this person is going to be whipped. It didn't say that it counts as 3 whips, or does it count as 1? All right. Can you continue, please, Nico?
He, the flogged, shall not be stretched out or tied up, but shall be left with 2 absolute floggings with which he can protect himself. He shall not be stripped of his clothes, but rather his shirt shall be left on him, whether a man or a woman. He shall not be exaggerated in flogging. He shall patch his hands so that the blood flows, and distribute it over his limbs. The limbs and the face shall be turned away, and a man shall be flogged while standing, and a woman while sitting, surrounded with a wrapped cloth. If he is thin or sick with no hope of recovery, he shall be flogged with a palm branch, with 150 branches.
Doesn't this sound different? I mean, 100 or 50. Wait a minute. What were they supposed to get as far as whippings? 100 or 50. I don't live in the South. Do you live anywhere near there's a palm tree? I mean,
Palmettos once in a long time ago.
would a
Yeah.
palm branch be like a whip? We used to call them. What do we call them? You would use them to. Yeah. Whip is the wrong word.
Fan, maybe.
You would use it on a child's behind.
Okay.
Think of the right word. It was a switch. They called it a switch. You'd take a stripped off a little, a green stick. You'd skin it off and, smart on the kids behind. That was something that was used in the 60s and 70s and probably much earlier. Nowadays, they probably considered it abuse. But if that's what they're using, sting quality, I don't even want to think about 150 times. I don't think it ever was used on me that many times. Yeah. You thought a spanking was bad? This, you ain't sitting down for a few days. Let me put it that way. And they say they're going to use this on your back. And did you notice up here they said to let the blood flow?
Yeah.
Freely? So they're doing this. This is such a severe beating that the person has a chance of dying. That's what you have to understand. If we're going by Islam, there's 3 whips here now, tied together. And if we're just counting the lashes from those 3 whips, that's 100 times being whipped with 3 whips tied together. That's like getting whipped 300 times. And if you don't stay conscious, because they're making you stand if you're a guy, or if you pass out and you're a girl, they're going to bring you back the next day and give you the rest. Because you have to stay conscious. That's what they're saying. It's just kind of, and they let you remain clothed. I think they do that so they don't have to look at the bloody mess you are. They're okay with seeing the blood. They're okay with seeing the blood flow, but they haven't really defined what is immoral here. Because they certainly defined what they thought was okay. Yeah. This is bad stuff. All right. Here we go. 12.6. If the penalty is stoning, the offender is stoned even in the severe heat or cold, and even if he has an illness from which he is expected to recover. A pregnant woman is not stoned until she gives birth, and the child can get along, this says, suffice with the milk of another. Wow. Look what they left out. Okay, we got if the punishment is stoning, the womb shall be merciful, even if it's due heat or disease that is expected away. A pregnant woman shall not be stoned until she gives birth. Why? Because they're going to kill the woman. They want the child to be able to live. The part they didn't add. The master may carry out the punishment on his slave. Why? Oh, well, God forbid we talk about slavery. And wait a minute. So his sex slave. He owns a piece of her. Earlier it says he owns a piece. That means she's having sex maybe with one of her other masters, but that's allowed. But if she gets caught having sex with anybody else, again, they have not defined. They're just calling it zina. Well, who has defined zina? They still, we looked at the scholars, even today, Islam Q&A, and they're really not defining this. They wanted to say it meant immoral. Well, in Arabic, it means basically illegal intercourse, sexual intercourse. And I'm on the air. Please don't on Thursdays, please. Come on. All right. Sorry, guys. So what does the Quran say on adultery? It's one thing to pull up. It's one thing to pull up the Sharia. And I've seen, like Elizabeth was talking about, it's controversial. We just pulled out 2 penalties. One is whipping, one is stoning. What's the real answer here? They didn't give it to us. Well, I thought Allah's law was supposed to be perfect. Is it? What does the Quran say? Now here we go. The female, zina. Oh, have they defined it? They don't know what fornicator is, and they don't know what adulterer is. Okay, the female fornicator and the male fornicator, so scourge each of them with 100 stripes. And do not let compassion keep you from carrying out the religion of Allah. If you are believers in Allah in the last day, and let an assembly of the believers witness their torment. So they want to carry out this punishment in front of others to scare people. Muslims who have committed zina cannot marry chaste Muslims. Okay. Why? Well, I will give this. Muslims who have committed a sexual act cannot marry chaste Muslims. So if you've committed an act out of marriage, for using the term fornication, well, that'd be a lot of guys not getting married if we're just using that. But they said it was okay. So what is illegal, or I mean, what kind of intercourse is illegal? If you can have sex with your sex slave, you can have. If you can have, I mean, so this is a woman he's not married to and has no contract with. Oh, so you can have. I mean, you start looking into what they really mean. This is scary stuff. So they're basically talking about having sex with a Muslim woman. Oh, they did say it could be a non-Muslim. But if they did this as an act of jihad, that woman who's being raped, she's not consenting. So yeah, you hear where I'm going? Then that woman who's being raped, if it's an act of jihad, the woman is now a sex slave. So this becomes very, very difficult to understand. What does zina actually mean? It says Muslims who have committed zina can't marry chaste Muslims. All right. The male fornicator can't have sex or marry except with a female fornicator or a female polytheist. Oh, wait. Now catch this. A male is not allowed to be married. Oh, yes, he is. A male is allowed to be married to a female polytheist. Oh, because the male, but can the woman be married to a male polytheist? The answer is no. Female fornicator can't have sex or marry except with a male fornicator or a male polytheist. Wait a minute. They can't marry. This would be a slave. She can have sex with a sex slave. Really? I think that goes against a couple other things in here. And this is forbidden for the believers. Oh, wait a minute, wait. It's forbidden, but you can do it. Does this make sense? This is right out of the Quran, right? And those who accuse virtuous women, then they cannot bring 4 witnesses, then scourge them with 80 stripes. So you're talking about a case of rape, is what we're basically talking about now. Or you catch somebody in adultery. You have to have 4 witnesses. Okay, well, let's say it's rape. Well, are most rapes committed in front of others? The answer is no. This is insane. I mean, this is why you have low reportings of sex crimes in Islamic countries. It's not because there are no crimes. It's because they've changed the reporting rules to make the people who commit those crimes free to do it again and again and again. And then they go to Austria, Germany, France, Sweden, Denmark, Europe, all over. They come here, Canada, wherever. Well, they've been allowed to do it in their country. No punishment. Because the non-Muslims are a free game. They're not wearing their hijabs. Yeah. And if you caught them and they didn't have a hijab, oh, you're taking them as your sex slave. This is so bad. And Nicodemus, you couldn't have said it any better. It's cultural. Yeah, cult is the right way to put that. I don't think you can say it any better at all. Here we go. And I get the mouse in the right spot. Here we go. Does Sharia abrogate the Quran then on this punishment? Because they talked about whipping, they didn't talk about stoning. Quran 6:151. Come, I will recite what your Lord has forbidden to you, so that you will not partner anything with him, and be good to your parents, and don't kill your children because of poverty. We will provide for you and for them. Do not draw near the indecencies, the zina, What appears from it or what is hidden. And do not kill the soul, which Allah forbids except a just cause. This is what he commands you. And this is one of the reasons I read this and I get almost nothing out of it. This is why I say the Quran is clear as mud. It makes no sense. And I mean, maybe you'd have to study other pieces of Islamic scriptures, but there's no clear message here. Nobody has truly defined what zina is, which makes an awful lot permissible. How about Quran 25:68? And those who do not call with Allah another God and do not kill the soul, which Allah has forbidden, except, wait. And those who do not call with Allah another God and do not kill the soul, which Allah has forbidden. Do you see this word except? I mean, Usama emphasizes Allah is the God of except. Except with a just cause, and they do not commit zina. And who does that will meet sin. Wait, if you commit a sin, you meet sin. Lost me there. Quran is clear as mud. This doesn't make sense. And this is the clearest book, we're told. Here's a good argument, people. You can say, if you can make sense of this and explain it to me without using anything else, please do. You can't use anything else. Why? Because the Quran's supposed to be clear and perfect. What does it tell you? Oh no, I don't want to go. I don't want to hear what the scholar said. I want you to try and explain it to me without doing that. And if you can, have they defined zina here? No. So what do the hadiths say on adultery? Again, we're only talking about a certain kind of intercourse. All right. So would you mind, Nico? Would you mind reading this piece?
Okay. All right. Abu Hurairah reported the Prophet as saying, "Every child of Adam has his share in adultery." He then narrated the rest of the tradition. This version goes, and the hands commit adultery, their adultery is catching, and the legs commit adultery, their adultery is walking, and the mouth commits adultery, its adultery is kissing.
So if we just substituted the word zina here, I mean, does that sound like it makes any sense, even if we make the word to mean immoral or unacceptable sexual relations?
To me, it just seems like drug use goes way back.
Too many mushrooms, is that what we're getting at? Or too many poppies?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I can get the concept that fantasizing of things you should not do can cause you to get into more trouble. I can get that. But their usage of this word is not sensical. It's not logical. It's unclear. Thank you, Hadith, for being as unclear as the book that is clear as mud, which is the Quran. All right, here we go. Abu Hurairah reported Allah's messenger as saying, Allah fixed the very portion of adultery which a man will indulge in. There would be no escape from it. The adultery, zina, of the eye is the lustful look. Well, I will agree with that. Guys can look at a girl and be thinking, oh, yeah. All right, I can agree with that part. And the adultery of the ears is listening to the voluptuous. Okay, can a girl's voice excite a guy? Absolutely. Okay, I can give him that one. And the adultery of the tongue is licentious speech. Can a woman tempt a guy with her voice? Absolutely. Okay, I give him that much. And the adultery of the hand, oh, we're now talking about masturbation. Is, you know why we know this? Because it's this next few words. Again, as disgusting as it is, the lustful grip. And the adultery of the feet. Wait. Oh, maybe we now understand. Don't want to go there. Is to walk where he intends to commit adultery. So this is a plan now. You've gone from fantasizing to committing an act of masturbation to going to where you're going to commit a sinful act. Is that what they're saying here? That's a little more clear. Did they give a punishment? No. Heart yearns and desires which he may or may not put into effect. They haven't given a punishment. Maybe it doesn't get punished because sin doesn't get punished by Allah. That's what they keep telling us. All right. Can you read this one, Nico?
Right? If a slave woman commits fornication, then whip her. And if she commits fornication, then wait a minute, that's the same thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
it's the same thing again. Yeah.
Then whip her. And if she commits fornication, then whip her. Then sell her, even if that is for a rope.
So the value of a human life here is a rope. I mean, they didn't even say if she does it again. So are you going to give her 150 lashes because the slave gets 50? All right. Are you going to give her, I mean, are you giving her 3 lashes? Are you giving her 50? Again, clear as mud. And this is Sunan ibn Majah, grade Sahih. This is a problem. And this word again is zina. This is not just sex before marriage. All right.
And I left
And
out
this
the
is
part.
a slave woman who doesn't get a choice. You're still going to whip your slave? Wait, or this is probably she's not having sexual relations with her owner, one of her owners. And that's, we have to keep saying one of the owners because she can be owned by multiple people. Ugh. Yeah, the joys of learning Sharia. I did not want to know that ever happened in my life, but that is history, and Sharia throws a light on having multiple slave owners of sex slaves. Yeah, everything they could say all in the family has a new meaning in under Islam. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. And I left out the part how this was actually narrated by the mother of Islam, Aisha.
Oh yes, the mother of Islam. So if we look at it, okay, she's saying that Muhammad said this, right? Does this make him sound dumber? I'm sorry. I mean, this is his child bride. She's repeating something he said. If this is as simple, I mean, if this is the genius that is supposed to be the messenger of their God, Allah, and this is the most sense he can make, I think Allah has a problem. If this is his best person, his perfect person, and that's how well he communicates, I think Allah must worship another God because there's not much here. All right, here we go. Next one. And okay. Ibn Abbas, this is again Sunan Abi Dawud, and this is on marriage. Let's be honest, it's not a marriage. This word nikah, it's sex. All right. Notice how they translate it as marriage. It's sexual relations. Ibn Abbas said, "I did not see anything more." Okay, I'll be even worse. This word marriage is not sexual relations; it's the F word. All right. Ibn Abbas said, "I do not see anything more resembling to major sins than what Abu Huraira reported from the Prophet, who said, Allah has decreed for the children of Adam a share in zina. He will get it by all means. The zina of eyes is looking. The zina of the tongue is speaking. The soul desires, has a passion in the private parts. Confirms or wait a minute. So all this unacceptable sexual relations is endorsed by their God. So how is it wrong? Who's at fault here? I mean, it says Allah has decreed for the children of Israel that they're going to take part in adultery. They're going to commit these acts, and it's all Allah's reason. Allah wants it. He's decreed. And everybody is a child of Adam. You got to be asking. And this is the best of Muhammad. Yeah, Sahih. So you can have desire, you can look, and you can these days the adultery of the tongue could be texting in naughty ways. I guess the soul desires, has passion, and yeah, when you act on it, that's confirming or falsifying it, right? Yeah. Thank you, Muhammad, for showing us who your Allah really is. All right. Nico, could you read the part on the left again, please?
Okay.
Yes, Red must have got home because he'll be back on again.
Narrated. That name.
Ubada bin As-Samit, I think.
Thanks, sir. The Messenger of Allah said, "Take from me, for Allah has a way made for them. For the married person who commits zina with a married person is 100 lashes, then stoning." Wow. And for the virgin who commits zina with a virgin is 100 lashes and banishment for a year.
So you're going to whip the guy 100 times, then kill him. Why don't we just skip it and go straight to the stoning? So
I know, right?
Wait a minute. Does the hadith now say the Quran was wrong? I mean, or are they saying, I mean, they're saying Muhammad changed his mind because they're putting it on Muhammad. Well, this is one of those abrogation type things that they do in the Quran. So, oh, wait, the Quran is a hadith. Oh, so the hadith can abrogate the hadith, right? Yeah. And guess who gets out easy this time? Oh, the virgin who commits adultery. So if she wasn't a virgin beforehand, she would be stoned. Yeah. Here she just gets banished. Well, I got bad news for you guys. If you live in the desert, you get banished from your community. Where's the food and water coming from?
Zamzam and coconuts? I don't know.
Spend some more time in the desert before you find the coconuts. Forget the water. Yeah, this is death. This is still a death punishment. And Zamzam, which kills me, guys, if you're a Muslim watching this, I suggest you take a look at today's Zamzam well. Find out where that water comes from. You'll have less faith in Mo. Oh, why? Because it comes through a pipe. Oh, well, is Allah not able to preserve his word if he's talking about Zamzam water? Wow. I mean, okay, I gotta put this one up here. Oh, Happy Kafir has me laughing. What if they're not a virgin? I've got one on the phone now, and I've got stones. Yeah, if she's not a virgin, and she'll get her 100 lashes, and they will stone her. All right. So she and her lover will both get stoned. I say skip the stoning, skip the lashes, go straight to the stoning. It saves the effort. Somebody's going to have an easier arm when they're done. That's 600 lashes you're not giving. Oh, remember, there's 3 whips tied together when they're doing this. This is just, yeah. All right, so does Sharia abrogate the hadiths? Let's find out. What does the Quran say on sodomy? All right, definitely. As we've been saying, no kids, no kids, no kids. All right. Quran 2:223. Your women are a field to you. So enter your field as you please. Gentlemen, if you don't know what this means, it means you can go in either entrance. Allah gave you permission. So, is sodomy a crime? No. It says your women. Does it say your wives? No. Start thinking about this. Okay, I'm reading this here. I'm going to take us back a bit. And I want you to pay real close attention. You can do that act of sodomy to dead or living, a slave girl, a sister, a slave sister who's a slave. You can do it to your wife. So, why is sodomy a crime? The Quran says it's okay. Those are all considered your legal relations. So is the Sharia abrogating the Quran? If they say you should commit, this is where it gets really confusing. And I pulled up islamweb.net. This has a passage that says, a question that says, there's a verse in the Quran that says your wives are a tilth for you. So go to your tilth when or how you will. And there is a hadith. They list that. And it says it is forbidden for men to come to their wives from behind. All right. So what's the difference here? Islamweb.net says it is strictly forbidden to have sex. It is strictly forbidden to have sex with a wife in her anus. The Prophet said, Allah is not ashamed of the truth. So do not have sex with women in their anuses. Another hadith reads, whoever has sex with his wife in her anus is cursed. All right. As for the Quranic verse in which Allah says, your wives are a tilth for you, they say, then there is no contradiction between it and the above hadith. In fact, it means that one is allowed to have sex with his wife in her other area, and whether one may introduce his penis to the backside or the front. The above verse was revealed to refute the Jewish claim that, okay, so this is just, they made this crap up. All right. This is just they're starting to put it on Jews. Well, the Jews have nothing to do with the Quran. The Jews have nothing to do with. If you have to go there, you've just made a fool out of yourself. All right, you've just lied about your own faith. This is insane. Yeah. So did Sharia just abrogate Muhammad and Allah? And I say, what about the Hadiths? Here we go. Oh, Nico, you get the first one.
Joy. He reported God's messenger as saying, God will not. I say, let me restart here. Let me correct this. He reported Allah's messenger saying, Allah will not look at him who has intercourse with his wife through her anus. It is transmitted in. Right.
Shar Asuna. Okay, and this is, you can see this, the source here, okay? Seems contradictory. The Quran says one thing. They're saying Allah doesn't even look at a guy who does that. All right. Here's the next one. Jami at-Tirmidhi. Abu Hurairah said, the Prophet said, whoever engages in sexual intercourse with a menstruating woman or a woman in her anus consults a soothsayer. Wait. So you want them consulting people who contact the dead? Okay. Then he has disbelieved in what was revealed to Muhammad. Whoever engages with a menstruating woman or a woman in her anus consults a soothsayer, then he has disbelieved. Wait a minute. Was he saying that this was wrong, the sex with the anus? For his wife? They're talking about a menstruating woman. He can't have sex with her the way he wants, is what they're saying. So he used her other area. And if you read this, you're like, well, there's no punishment here. It's weird. I know the great is Hassan, but they cite Hassan and Da'if as the rule in Sharia. All right, let's look at the next one. What about accusations of adultery without proof? Now we're going on. If you're confused about these punishments, join the club. A lot of stuff is just plain permissible. We've seen that by reading the Sharia. They didn't want us to read. And if you know anything about Muhammad, there are hadiths that accuse him of engaging in an act or being the person who was sodomized. That's what I should say. The hadiths do this. I suggest you spend some time looking at some of the other Christian apologists, and they have some great stuff on this. I just have chosen to concentrate on Sharia, and I didn't pull that up for this. All right. Here we go. This is the next section, 013.0. The penalty for accusing a person of adultery, of zina, without proof. Now, I talked to Yusuf about this, and on the right, he read this. If you notice, the Arabic is very, very short here. All right. See how long this English translation is? Let's look at, in the Arabic is there. It says this, the punishment for false accusations. Where did they get all this other stuff? They just made it up. Over here it says, when a person who has reached puberty and is sane voluntarily accuses, yes, yeah. Anybody who wants the slideshow, I will send this to them. If you would like this PowerPoint, just let me know. You can find me on Facebook. I would have said Skype, but Skype is pretty dead now. LinkedIn, go looking for me. You will find me. There are places you can find me and just send me a message. Facebook, LinkedIn, those are probably going to be the easiest spots, or through my email, and I'll just say it really quick, and I'm not going to put it in the chat room because I'm tired of getting garbage, which somebody has decided to start sending to me. BEREAN_research@yahoo.com. Ask for the PowerPoint. I'll send it to you as a PowerPoint or as a PDF. You choose. And this is pretty simple stuff. It takes a while to put together. This is the reason I didn't do a show last week, because I didn't have some of the stuff translated correctly, and I knew it wasn't correct. And I didn't want to come out and present some of the stuff. And that nasty thing that poor Nico got stuck reading, that was so far off. If I didn't do this, if I didn't go, this is the point of research. You have to go and verify. You have to make sure you get a good translation, and sometimes it's worth it. Sometimes you find stuff you don't want to find, and that's pretty much where I've gotten this time. So let me finish this piece up. Again, I wouldn't have known some of this without help from great men like Yusuf and Usama. So notice on the left, they said a sane person. They say adult. This means to them an adult is a child who has a singular pubic hair. Notice they said puberty, has reached puberty. If you are they're saying you're an adult if you have a single pubic hair. Accuses another person of adultery or sodomy. Notice up on the right, it says a Muslim, a non-Muslim, an apostate. If a sane adult person of free will who is a Muslim or a non-Muslim or an apostate or someone who's chaste, trustworthy, who has no legal right to have children. Oh, wait. All those things. If one of them accuses one of having adultery or sodomy, whether explicitly or in writing, with the intention of, this is where it doesn't make sense, committing it, the punishment is imposed on him. Let me read it to you on the left. Then the accused is someone who could be chaste. Okay. The accuser is subject to the penalty for the accusing a person of adultery without 4 witnesses. So you can't make this statement if you don't have the 4 witnesses. Oh. So the same thing for rape people. This is why there's hardly any charges of sexual crimes. This is so bad. Could you feel safe in a country where you're a woman, there's a lot of men working around you, and none of them would say anything if they're doing something together? Yeah. Not many people want to testify against themselves. Yeah. Nico, can you read this page?
Okay, you want me to do the left? Yeah.
Yes.
All right, 13.2. Someone who could be chaste in this context means someone who has reached puberty, is sane, free, Muslim, and has not committed an act of fornication that is punishable, meaning it has not been legally established.
Do we even know what they're talking about? Because we haven't heard. I mean, okay, first of all, we know they're talking about, so you can't be a slave because they mentioned the word free. All right, you've reached puberty and you're not a slave. You've got some sanity. You're Muslim, and you haven't. I mean, it doesn't say you haven't had sex. You just haven't committed an immoral act of sex. Wait. It's okay as long as you're not a female. Yeah. You get caught doing with a female and the dad finds out and you didn't sign a contract with the dad, they might stone you. But if it's okay if you took a kafir because she can be considered your sex slave. Yeah. All right. Can you read the bottom here, please?
13.3. The penalty for making such an accusation without witnesses is to be scourged. 80 lashes.
Okay. The free person shall be flogged 80 times and the slave 40 times. Wait a minute. So again, a woman gets raped. She accuses someone of committing an act of adultery on her or rape. You know what's going to happen now? Because the guy probably raped her. I mean, she might have been married to someone. She's charging him with adultery because she was raped and she's married. And she doesn't have 4 witnesses to the rape. Well, the husband, we'll just say the husband's probably not home. He's working or something. And this guy breaks into the house, rapes her. Oh, is he going to do this in front of others? No. So because she can't have witnesses, if she reports it, she's getting whipped 80 times. This is why there's almost no reporting of sex crimes. You can thank Aisha for this. See, she got accused of fooling around with a young boy while she was married as a child to her 50-some-odd-year-old husband. And, Allah gave this divine revelation to Muhammad that she had to have more witnesses to prove her wrong when she was claiming she didn't do anything. So he saved his child bride, who may have, the Shiites will claim without a doubt that she engaged in sexual acts with someone she shouldn't have. And yeah, I'm curious. I don't remember reading that Aisha's accuser got flogged 80 times. But now you start wondering, did they lash that woman, because I believe it was a woman or a guy, did they lash them 80 times? I think Ali is the one that accused her of having sexual relations. That's why she hated him so much. That's why the Shiites hate her. Maybe he was flogged 80 times. I don't know. Then you have to start wondering if the first 4 caliphs are perfect, the rightly guided caliphs, and he got flogged 80 times while Mo was still alive. How can he be rightly guided if he got flogged 80 times during that time? You have to ask questions about this. All right, we're going to go on. I'm going to read from the left and point out some weird stuff on the right. Accusations in plain words include such expressions as "you have committed fornication." No, you've committed zina. All right. And the like, while elusive words mean such expression as "you lecher" or "you wretch." Doesn't sound anywhere is the same. Doesn't even have the same meaning. Okay. If the latter terms are accompanied by the intention to accuse, the amount of an accusation, or if not, they do not. The accuser is the one whose word is accepted. So they're just going to accept his word. When there is no proof, if he swears an oath as to what he intended by such elusive words. All right, let's go to the left, to the right here. Okay. The exclusive form, this just did not make any sense, no matter how you look at it. or cursed fornication. Okay, so you have something going on here with a woman's fluids, okay? Then they say, writing such as wicked, O vile one. If he intended slander, he shall receive a hard punishment. Oh, otherwise not. Hard punishments are very severe. They'll cut off your hand. They'll kill you. Yeah, there's almost nothing not severe with hard punishments. Hadad punishments, yeah, it's bad. I mean, if you don't have those 4 witnesses, you're going to keep your mouth shut if you're Muslim in a Muslim country, because you don't want what's coming. 13.5. If he slanders a group, it's not possible for all of them to be fornicators. So if he says, like, all the people of Egypt they commit the act of zina, a reprimand is due, but it's not possible, such as saying the sons of so-and-so are fornicators, then he must receive a punishment for each one. Oh! So if you say all Egyptians are, or all Saudis are, or all Turks are, or all Iranians are, how many people in that country? Oh, and you get that penalty times that many number. Ooh. 40 lashes times a few 100,000. How long is this going to go on? You have to ask these questions. This is sick, sad, and scary. Now, I'm going to have you, I think this is about the last one. Nico, would you mind reading this one?
Okay. Does this involve zina with bugs or something?
These are all, it's all about false accusations, so don't feel so bad.
Okay, all right. 13.6. Someone who twice accuses someone of adultery without witnesses is punished only once. Okay. Progress? Someone who accuses a person of adultery and is punished for the accusation, but then again accuses the person of the same fornication is merely disciplined.
Don't do that again.
All right. I was wondering. All right. 13.7. When someone accuses a person who could possibly be chaste of adultery, but the accuser has not yet been punished at the time the accused subsequently commits an act of fornication, then the accuser is not punished.
So you accuse a person of possibly, not keeping your zipper up, and then get possibly. And notice on the right it says simply, if the accused is a married person and is not punished until the married person commits the adultery. Wait. Do we have to wait till he does it again? I mean, I'm totally. I'll be on the left. It's very confusing. On the right, it sounds like you can accuse somebody, and if he commits the crime, you don't get punished. That person gets punished. So was it a false report? Well, how long do we have here? There's no established timeline here. They didn't even talk about the witnesses. So who's got to watch this? Oh yeah. Okay, so you set up people to watch them having, and you got to set up at least 4 if we're following the rules of Sharia court. Oh, I feel sorry for those guys who have to do this. That's something pleasant to watch. All right. 13.8 we're on.
Okay. The penalty for accusing a person of adultery without witnesses is only carried out when the Islamic magistrate is present and the accused requests that it be carried out. If the accused forgives the offender, there is no punishment. All right.
okay, let me see if I understand this correctly. Someone comes up to you, you're married, and accuses you of stepping out on your wife. She flips out. She's threatening divorce. And you say, oh, you're okay. Really? You want that guy to get the 40 lashes. You want him to get the 80 lashes, or her. You want them. You've just ruined somebody's life by making a false accusation. Really? They're going to turn around and say, it's okay. I thought there was no forgiveness in Islam. From what I see. This is a mess. And it's, again, I see the whole intent here to hide real crimes, sexual crimes. So this book, again, this book that this is in, Section O is the book of crimes. Doesn't this sound like you're letting somebody go? Or, I mean, even the person who's false accusation, they get it out. I'm not saying this is good. This is insane the way I'm reading this. All right, I get this one. 13.9. If the slandered person dies, so the guy you made a false accusation against dies, his right is transferred to his heir. Oh, so you had made a false accusation. The son now wants to see you killed. And it says his right is transferred to the heir. He killed him because it was at his own command, and to whom? That's a little confusing. Yeah. 13.10. 13.10. And if a man tells another man to accuse, this is just bizarre. Again, I checked this with Yusuf. We sat there looking at this like, if a man tells another man to accuse him of something, then he's not punished. Okay, so Nico, I call you and I say, hey, accuse me of committing adultery. And you do it. You don't get any punishment because I asked you to do it. Really, why would I? What are you trying to set me up so my wife divorces me? Is that what I'm trying to do? That's not going to make sense to me.
Interesting. Maybe.
That's the only thing I can come up with to make this legit. That is the only thing I can come up with. All right, now we get to this next part, which of course is hidden. And if he slanders a slave, he's entitled to a discretionary punishment. Don't do that again. Because she's a slave, we're not going to yell at you too much. You know, I can be totally wrong here about this 13.10, but that is the only situation I can figure where I would say, hey, you know, we're going to play this game. You rat me out for having sex with some woman. You're going to give her a name or whatever. You make up a name. And then, you know, well, if I'm married, the wife's going to get all mad. She's going to take me to Sharia court and she's going to make me get divorced. Okay. Does this sound like the guy who's planned it all is getting what he wants? Probably. Now the question, will the spouse, because the only one somewhat getting a benefit here is the guy who asked him to do that. I mean, it sounds like a setup for that kind. I can't think of another situation. I don't know, Nico. Can you think of another? Or
no, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, it's again. I could be way off. I tried thinking about this one. It's the only thing that would make sense for me. That is the end of tonight's show. I have been working on a couple new books. I have a couple new books coming out. This book here, Proverbs, a book of wisdom for boys, is going to be, it's in the process of being redone. Much better editing. I'm working with Genesis Publishing House. I do recommend them to everybody. If you're trying to get a Christian book published, contact them. They're really good people to work with. This is the stuff we've covered tonight. It's filthy. You want to go take a shower after this? I've sometimes I have to sit, after looking at this stuff, go do something totally different. Just shocked that I'm covering this. I think there's a lot of people who are Christians who could not even do this discussion. A few years ago, I couldn't have, because I've decided to go through Sharia step by step, slowly. I forced myself to come to the point where I can't ignore it. I'm going to go through it. We've been doing this for over 2 years. They just kind of hit me. 2 years, over 2 years we've been doing this. And I know we're not at it's 52 plus 52 will be 104, right? And I've skipped some weeks. I know this. That's why we're only at 86, I believe. Some of this stuff is hard to do, and the research is not easy. So the shows, it's me trying to get through stuff, me trying to be pull stuff up, and to be faithful at it. Sometimes it's not as easy. It takes time. If you want to support this ministry, buy those books. Go to Amazon. Go to your local store. Ask them to order my books. Great. Those are the ways to support me. I'm not taking donations. I'm trying to give you an even exchange. I don't know what to do with some of this knowledge besides share it. I had someone ask me for information about legalized rape. Well, we read that today. It's much worse. And Happy Kaffer brought the topic up. We read today that you could have sex with animals. There was no punishment. They didn't have to say goats. That leaves a larger gambit than just goats. So, Sharia allows for this. No punishment.
Yeah, but his follow-up kind of leads to, we might have finally discovered what zina is here. Something that they didn't cover, that the long list of things that are allowed, something that they didn't mention is the ear hole. So the ear hole of animals and bugs and inanimate objects. So 3 things we might have stumbled on that are actual zina in Islam. Oh, I forgot, and let's not overlook staying married to the same person for the rest of your life. That wasn't mentioned either.
And that is, again, they were only supposed to be, this is the part that kills me. They were supposed to be talking about zina. They never defined it. They just told us it's immoral sexual interaction in the private part of the woman. Okay, that's it. And then they mentioned sodomy, and they said the Quran says it's okay. The Hadith say yeah and no, yeah and no, and the Sharia says no. Now you have to start asking yourselves, and this is, again, I started out with definitions, and I have still as many questions now that I'm done with it. Why is the Quran so badly written? Well, you have a guy who doesn't know basic definitions of words, or this was not written during Muhammad's time by Muhammad, or the Quran is clear as mud and don't expect anymore. If that's the case, what do you expect from their law? This is a mess, and it's filthy and disgusting. I wish it wasn't, but I'm doing this because the truth is we have to get these facts out. They're moving into your countries, my countries. my country, I should say. I'm very disgusted what's happened to the country my family left hundreds of years ago. My family came to America 400 years ago. And where did they come from? They came from England. I'm very disgusted with the grooming gangs that are back in the news. If anybody hasn't seen what's back in the news, there's so many Muslims now in the UK that Muslim women are now making accusations against the women who made charges against the grooming gang members, calling them liars. Why? Because they don't have 4 witnesses. Whoa. So they want Sharia, so nobody can be charged with a crime. You can do it over and over again. This is the thing we have to remember. These are the laws they want you and me to follow. If we don't think like that, we're in trouble. We have to be looking at that. There's a place here in Texas they're trying to create called Epic 2.0. They want to create this place. I believe it's in Josephine, Texas, where they will follow Sharia. Start thinking about your local Islamic communities. What do they, I mean, if you read this today, or if you've listened to this message and you ask your neighbor who's Muslim, do you want Sharia? And they answer yes. Are you now wondering, yeah, we read that passage. Oh, yeah, back there. Are you okay with this stuff? Yeah. You like little girls, okay. You think Muhammad's the perfect man? I'm protecting my daughter. I'm getting a shotgun, putting it by the door, protecting my animals.
Dead people.
Dead people, yeah. I'll we give a gun to the local graveyard guy. And check the hadith, you will see Muhammad engaged in his own act with a dead person. Some of these things we wish were not true. You can find them for yourself. Don't trust what I'm saying. Do your own research. Please don't trust what I'm saying. I will say this over and over again because I want you to find out for yourself if what I'm telling you is true. And if you find out what I'm telling you is true, come back and start to support what I'm doing. Somehow that would help me. You know what? I want to end with a note of humor. And I can thank Nico for his help. Let's start with a note of humor. And I'm starting to do shorts, and we will have a good laugh today at the end. And we couldn't have done it. I could not have done this without recognizing there's a gentleman in here on the show today who is outstanding in his knowledge of how to do some things called shorts. And I just don't have that knowledge. So I'm going to play this so everybody can have a laugh. And I think it's great. It's from one of the past shows. And I don't have this imagination. So maybe I can get people to go to Nico and say, hey, you've got talent. Maybe you can help me.
I was going to say, not having that imagination, I would call that a blessing.
Well, let me play this. I'm going to close out the show after this. Any last words, Nico?
Yeah, I do want to bring up Thaddeus's battle with the care. I really encourage everyone out there to do whatever they can to support him. This is our opportunity to push back. So please do what you can to get involved with that.
So while we're talking about that, this week, CARE threatened women in Texas I think they're insane. If the husbands had done, which I would have thought, if you threaten the woman of a Texan and you're in Texas, I'm going to say it again, you're insane. Because Texas law is not the same. Texas culture is not the same as California or New York State. No. Texas is the place where a gang rape happened. And the judge said, you guys, you have a choice. We cut it off or you choose life imprisonment. One of them chose to get it cut off. The rest chose life imprisonment. It wasn't considered cruel and unusual punishment because they had a choice. Okay. Father was accused of killing the guy who raped his daughter. He went to court. He was found guilty. He didn't even get a day in jail. So Texas law is different. I thought the men would have gone there and beat the snot out of the guy. That's my thought. I was waiting to see what would happen. This would have happened yesterday. Oh, sorry, on the 29th. That would be Tuesday. Thank God it didn't happen, but all right, let me play this and everybody have a good laugh. Here we go.
There's no literal translation or no literal use of the word jihad to mean holy war that you'll find in any text of Islam.
Is such Quranic verses as fighting is prescribed for you, Quran 2:216. Slay them wherever you find them, Quran 4:89. Fight the idolaters utterly, Quran 9:36.
A process where an individual takes on themselves.
The struggle to just be a better person, to be a better Muslim.
Waking up in the morning, I could be like, yo, it was a total jihad to get that girl's phone number. The word jihad comes from the Arabic word jahada, which literally means to struggle. And that's all that it really means.
9.0. Jihad means to war against non-Muslims and is etymologically derived from the word mujahada. Wait a minute. Did that last guy lie?
There's no...
I'm sorry. I love this, Nico. It was outstanding. It was outstanding.
It's flattering.
So, if anybody's looking for someone to help get that kind of notoriety, get that kind of a communication out, you might want to contact Nico. God bless you all.
Appreciate that.
Get out there, share the truth.
Yeah.
That's
share
the
the
biggest thing I can say. Share this out. Help us to get the truth out. God bless everybody. Thank you. And we're cut.